Hi guys, I'm so pleased you could join us. I am joined by Laura Beckford from Supernova Living. There she is.
Hello.
I'm so excited to chat to her. She brings a lot of experience of business. And I think one of the things with fitness professionals, we want to explore fitness, but also it's that sort of health side of things. So I've got a number of questions I'm going to throw at her. But Laura, first of all, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm really excited to talk to you and yeah, about everything, business adaptations, fitness, passion. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. So I think the first key thing is you've been so kind to offer us a discount on your products, and we're going to get to know more about the discount. There it is. So if you use the code FitPro20, it will take 20% off, and these products are absolutely amazing. So I wanted to obviously just get in a nutshell about your product, but also to do with adaptogens. We've recently started to explore that with the lady that we use nutrition side, Dr. Linnea Patel, who's explored adaptogens. I've used them in the past, but I wanted you in a nutshell to explain about them and your product. Over to you.
Okay, so adaptogens in a nutshell are, I'll try not to go into too much scientific detail, but basically they're a series of non-toxic plants that keep your body in balance. So they naturally work with your neurological system, your adrenal system, your endocrine system, and naturally put it in a state of homeostasis. So similar to how pharmaceuticals will tap into the neurotransmitters and keep, make a headache go away, the same things works with these series of non-toxic plants. But without any of the side effects, completely natural. They're pure plants, but they have this incredible ability to put your body in more of a parasympathetic state. So again, if you're not, I'm sure your listeners are very well versed on parasympathetic states, but I always like to say, you know how you feel if you come out of a yoga class and you're just zen and you're calm and your body is calm, your adrenals aren't firing off. That's how adaptogens make you feel. Just keep the nice little balance. And I think in the world now, we say on the packaging, they're for people who live a fast-paced lifestyle. Everybody's so up and down, especially women's and hormones, so up and down. And I think to keep that calm and the balance and the homeostasis in life, in your mindset and in your body, is a really beneficial thing. So that was kind of the ethos and the desire to create that with one single product.
Love it. That was perfectly put in a nutshell. Thank you so much. So when we first spoke, I was really curious to get to know more about the product. I wanted to learn kind of more about what got you into business. And one of the things that, all of the guys at FitPro, we've just a passion. So what got you into starting this business? Because you talked about a passion project. So let us know a little more about that.
I am. If anybody kind of describe me, they would say I'm a passionate person. I'm an Aries. I'm very fiery. I'm very passionate about life in general. But forever, my passion has been health and wellness. Now, 17 years ago, I started another business, a children's casting and modeling agency. And in another life, I was a TV presenter. But I've always had this, overwhelming desire for passion and health. So there's a few reasons why we started the business. Is that what you want me to go into now? I won't go off on one.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, please.
Okay. So there's a few reasons. My husband used to play professional football. He played for Leeds, Everton, Leicester. So we've always been, a very healthy, health conscious family. So when he was coming up to retirement, there are a few stats. This is definitely going off on a tangent, but I always find it quite interesting because we were looking at when he was coming up to retirement, footballers, there were three things. I think there was 78% of retired footballers either got depressed, divorced, or bankrupt. It's probably one of the highest professions where men try to or do actually commit suicide. So those statistics were really alarming to me. And I thought, I need to do something about this. I need to make sure that he's prepared, we're prepared financially, emotionally, in every way for the next transition, because so many footballers aren't. It could do a whole other podcast on that, but it's a real problem to support after retirement. So I was very conscious of this. So we discussed how we wanted our lifestyle to be after football. He's not just going to sit at home and be a bum and put on 5 stone. And that was never happening. And I'm passionate about business and health and wellness. So we discussed, we wanted to spend more time together. We wanted to meet more like-minded people. We wanted to travel more and we wanted to help people. So we put all these things together, and after literally a couple of years, we developed the product. That was a very succinct answer how we developed it. But because Jermaine would come home from training and he would be very lethargic. It's notorious in like the football industry, all the wives say, oh, you know, he's come home from training, had a nap. I think this is ridiculous. They're supposed to be at peak physical fitness, these guys. And yeah, they train for, 2 or 3 hours, intensively, but then they would come and nap. And as soon as, wives started having children, we were kind of like, this can't happen, we don't have that luxury. You've got to, step up a bit here. Anyway, obviously they're super healthy. They eat, a lot of them eat very well. They're, very, very healthy, fit, but they were given these protein powders as a matter of course, handed to them twice a day. I thought this could be the only problem. I asked him to bring it home and it was full of absolute rubbish, even at the best clubs. And naively, we thought, of course, they're spending millions on these players. They're going to have the best nutrition. They didn't. And I was dumbstruck. So from that moment, he threw it in the bin straight away, started doing a bit of alchemy in the kitchen table, bits of this protein, bits of that, doing a hell of a lot of research. Obviously, I knew a lot anyway, because I've been brought up on kind of herbs, adaptogens, medicinal mushrooms, homeopathy. And then we obviously got in touch with a lot of the top health professionals in the industry and created the men's powder initially. He took it to work. Obviously, everything's all statistics, a huge board with all the monitoring on. And the coach came and said, what are you doing? Your stats have gone through the roof. Your recovery rates are amazing. And that's how we created the men's blend. And Jermaine's stomach didn't hurt. He would come home and go, should we take the kids on a bike ride? It was literally life-changing. And then all the other players were saying, I have some of this, I hate this awful whey stuff. Can I have some of yours? So I was making this secret blend in the kitchen, giving it to these Premiership footballers. I knew it was okay. So don't,
Yeah.
It was perfectly fine. So they were all wanting it. So that's when we kind of thought there may be something in this. And then all the wives were saying, I've heard about this powder. I've tried it. It's given me loads of energy. Help me. I'm exhausted. I'm hormonal. I'm bloated. And that's when our women's one was developed. So I know that was quite a long story, but there was two sides. Basically, I found a real niche. Women needed help. We were constantly exhausted. We're, adrenal fatigue, hormonally imbalanced. So many people we know, I don't know about yourself, are on pharmaceuticals every day with, unbelievable side effects. I've been brought up with a very natural, holistic lifestyle, not on pharmaceuticals at all. I knew there had to be another way. And from speaking and doing a heck of a lot of research from health professionals, naturopaths, medical herbalists, we realized that there was this magic, series of plants called adaptogens that can literally heal people naturally. So this concoction was 2 years in the making. It's definitely, we say it's like the most advanced wellness powder in the world. And I can speak from personal experience. The qualities are second to none.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's a passion, like I say. So lots of different elements there, but that's how it came about.
Yeah,
definitely a passion project.
I love the idea of alchemy. I just, pulling out everything that it is quite alarming, isn't it, to think that you would assume at that level of training.
Yeah, I was embarrassed to presume that you would think that it would all be, the best of the best, they would get some sirloin steak and monkfish and this, but then they'd be given them absolute rubbish with gums, emulsifiers, E-numbers, colorings, fillers that we call negative nutrition. It strips the body. It may have 20, 30 grams of protein, but that's, covered with glyphosate and carcinogens and sprayed and not organic and all these things that are going to strip nutrition from your body. So it really is definitely a passion project. And the more you delve into it and research and understand what's gone into it, the processing, the isolation with chemicals, it's a rabbit hole. And it makes me
I bet. Yeah, of course, because it drives you, doesn't it? Because you actually you're doing the research and going, I had no idea. And let's be honest, if something's on a shelf and it's marketed well, people pick it off and assume that it's really good for them. But there's certainly some evidence there, isn't there? And that's one of the questions I wanted to check in with you. The research about adaptogens is ongoing, isn't it? And I wanted to ask what team you use. I mean, certainly you clearly know a lot because you were saying things. I'm like, oh, that's impressive. But what sort of team do you use so you know that this product is at the level that you are talking about?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, unknowingly, Jermaine would say, you know all about it, because I've been brought up in that lifestyle. So naturally, I know a lot. But I was very conscious that I don't have a PhD in, medicinal mushrooms, or, I've got an A-level in biology. that's my accreditation. But we wanted to get that support, that reassurance, that accreditation. And luckily, Jermaine, working in the top end of the industry, knows a lot of super high, not high profile, but very well trained medical professionals. So we work with the best naturopathic nutritionists, medical herbalists, sports nutritionalists, to make sure that it ticked every box and more. We always said at the beginning, it's not just a protein powder, because to me, the protein in it is superfluous to the incredible therapeutic levels of adaptogens, the purity of the ingredients, the organic status. So we worked with the best health professionals. We got it independently tested to make sure that the levels were exactly as they were supposed to be, and the metals in it, and everything was just been done to the highest standard, because initially it was just for us, and I'm very pedantic about what I put in my body, so we were doing it for us initially.
Right. So you were this sort of I suppose you're the creator of something specifically for you, rather than thinking, oh, where's a space for my business? Of course, I know you were thinking about how you could work collectively together, your passion project, tick off all those things, that you talked about. But this comes from a place of taking care of yourself and your family, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's only just clicked really. But over the years, after speaking in panels and other founders, I didn't even realize products could be white label. I'd never even heard of the term white label. So people would say, oh, is it white label? No, it's kind of white, but it's got, I didn't realize that white label actually meant you just go to a factory and say, can you just make me a protein powder? And they put whatever they want in. You'd have no idea of the sourcing, the sustainability. So this is as far from a white label product as you can possibly get. I've spoken to, the suppliers in Peru. I've spoken to the suppliers in Vietnam. I've tried to source the chaga from Scotland, but we would wipe out the whole crop, so it wasn't sustainable. So, that's the difference between our product, and I think it shows really.
Well, hearing you, no, absolutely. And hearing you, when we first spoke, I was like, well, I was intrigued anyway, because we'd had like a mutual friend, and I was like, oh, tell me about it. And I looked at your website and I was like, oh, I love it. It just looks so lovely. And I read more and I was just like, oh, this aligns well with me. And one of the things, I work in marketing, a story, behind a brand is truly what will make me be interested in stuff like that. So hearing you concocting it in your kitchen, I'm learning more just by speaking to you in this webcast now. I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. I wanted to find out from you, because we wanted to talk to you not just about the product but business.
Yeah.
And you've obviously had a number of businesses, and you said about passion projects. So what drives and inspires you? You've got, you're a mum, you're doing a lot of things. So what drives and inspires you day in, day out with this?
I've tried to, so I studied psychology as well, and I pester my husband all the time. Why do you do this? So I've tried to look internally, why, when my husband was playing football, so many people were saying, why are you working so much? Like, you don't need to, why are you doing this? And it definitely is a passion. So I've tried to think, where does that come from? And I truly believe, it sounds a bit cliche, but I just want to help people, because the product, I started, like I briefly said, I started a children's casting agency because I used to be a children's TV presenter, and I had the most incredible experiences for live TV for many years, met incredible people. And then I wanted to give other children those experiences. So we started this casting agency. And the same thing goes for Supernova. I was burnt out. I had 2 children in 2 years. I was running a business. My husband was away a lot. As most women are, they have adrenal fatigue. They're exhausted. They're expected to do everything for everyone, and it's not possible. But to keep that, whilst we're being mindful to keep, a balance and having time for ourselves, it's often very difficult. And again, I didn't want to use pharmaceuticals. So I wanted to create a product that helped people, men and women. You know, in our market research, we did find women were crying out for help more than men. But, you know, equally, men struggle too. They may just not talk about it as much as women, which is why, I created Supernova for that reason. I think that's where the passion comes from, and that's where the drive comes from. And it's incredibly difficult. Any founder will tell you. And again, I don't like to be stereotypical, but a female founder is expected to still, you know, sort the kids out, make the dinners, tidy the house, sort of, and run the business. So I think the passion is because it helps people. And genuinely, again, it sounds a bit cliched and cheesy, but when I get messages and DMs and emails on a daily basis or weekly basis saying, this has literally changed my life, I can't thank you enough. It genuinely puts, you know, I'm tearful over it, because how incredible that I could help somebody like that with a series of plants that are completely natural.
It seems so simple. It's not. I know, you know, driving a business is not a simple thing, but when it comes from a place of, you know, you find your why and your passion, it's an easy thing to do. But I did hear you, you know, saying about, you know, that life-work balance and, you know, being mindful of that as well, because I suppose with business, sometimes, you know, every day is a business day, isn't it? Particularly if you're a founder and you're driving that business and stuff. So how do you make sure that drive and that passion, it doesn't overtake everything?
It is overwhelming, and like you say, it's not a 9 to 5. But I always think that, again, there's a saying, isn't there? If you do something that you love, there's something to spin around Instagram at the moment saying, if you're stressed, it's not because you're overweight, it's because you're spending too much time doing stuff you don't want to do. If you're doing something that you love, you know, you don't see it as a stress. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is stressful. And how do I balance that? I think I need to constantly come back to our philosophy, our ethos, which is balance, and make sure that I am living. To me, it's a lifestyle. Supernova Living, it's not just products, and the intention is for it to be a wellness lifestyle company. We genuinely live the lifestyle. We grow our own vegetables, we eat organic, we are plant-based, we're very active, we have, you know, non-toxic everything. So it's very much a lifestyle, and I need to constantly bring myself back to that and be mindful that I need to live that as well, and take some time out. And, you know, some girls, friends said to me this week, we're going to London for a shopping trip, and instinctively said, no, absolutely not, I've got to work. I thought, no, absolutely, I need to make time for that, because, you know, if I'm pouring from an empty cup, that's not going to help me or my family. So very easier said than done. I get it, you know.
Absolutely. You know, it is that, like, say, balance of passion, and, you know, the fact that you say that you wanted to do something with your husband and for your family, then you have to be sure not to do so much that you're almost taken away from that. So from the creation of, you know, you in the kitchen and thinking, what on earth are we going to do with this? How has the business changed from what you perhaps started out on day one? I heard you say that you started off with the powder for guys, then you heard that women wanted it. What else has changed? How has it evolved?
Look, thinking about the powder initially, the formulation has changed ever so slightly, in that I've increased the cacao for the women's. I've increased the levels of the adaptogens, because I wanted it to be, when we got some nutritional values back, I wanted it's now got 180% of your recommended daily allowance of vitamin C, in a bioavailable form purely from the camu berries. So there's no ascorbic acid, there's no, you know, it's pure whole food plants that are giving you that. Because I felt that women needed, well, women and women, but needed that extra boost for their immune system. We've got 5 times more chaga than any other medicinal mushroom powder out there. Again, because I felt that I wanted that. If it's going to have it in it, I wanted it to create a significant effect. So that's only slightly changes from the very beginning. We've updated the branding as, you know, my styles have changed and things that I wanted. We are changing something in the next few months, so the powder is going directly into the tub rather than in a bag. So it's, you just learn and grow as you learn things in business, don't you? But from the beginning, the concept and the ethos hasn't changed too much. I've learned to listen to customers more, rather than, obviously it was a product for myself, so I did exactly what I wanted. But seemingly, you know, a lot of other women need and like that as well. but I've definitely learned from, thousands of customers that we've seen at festivals that we communicate with, to listen to what they want and what they need as well. But seemingly we're on the same page, so hopefully
Love
not.
it.
But we just developed a new product actually, that's launched in the next couple of weeks, which is very exciting. And I've definitely learned from that one to listen to the customer, because on that one, what I think should be right and should be out there, people said, no, I want this packaging, I want this. For instance, basically it's a children's blend. I can kind of release it now. It's a children's blend, super passionate about it. And I love dark, rich chocolate. So initially it was really rich cacao. I was like, oh, it's going to be a great chocolate milkshake. My kids are great. They'll eat anything. So they were like, oh, it's nice. It's quite dark, but it's nice. But tested it on kind of dozens of their friends. And they were like, oh no, it's too chocolatey. I'm like, how's it too chocolatey? You're crazy. So again, I had to listen to them. They're the consumer. Same with the packaging. I wanted super cool neutrals and they wanted bright colors. So we've had to go with the and ultimately I have realized it's a business at the end of the day. I definitely want to help people, but if it's not a product that people will buy, it's not a business. And
it's not helping them.
It's not helping them.
Right.
And again, we had a product that was called the Naked Blend, which had no sweetener and no flavoring, and it was quite hardcore. And we definitely had a cult following. There was a cult lot that was super hardcore that loved it. And I got an email yesterday, when you bring this back, because we discontinued it because it wasn't as popular as the women's. We sold maybe 10 times more of the women's. But I've realized that the majority of the population want it slightly sweeter, which is the women's is. So yeah, it's just a learning curve, isn't it? And I again followed business, and I think you have to adapt. Ironically, as adaptogens do, you've got to adapt to the situation and what the customers want and the way the world is.
Right. Absolutely. We were talking before we pressed record about, like you're presenting previously and that you've done a lot of live TV and things. So how do you think that your presenting career, because it's long, right? How do you think that's helped you in this business? And maybe within that question, think about the people who are not used to presenting. Have you got some insights from what is part of your career, how it helps your business, and maybe somebody who's new to, their own business, to do with presenting?
I didn't really think about it too much because, again, like the wellness thing, it's kind of second nature. I started presenting when I was 13. I moved to London to present and took over from Fearne Cotton on GMTV when I was 17. So it was all very young. It was all kind of very natural. I do think it probably helps when I'm not really nervous talking to camera. Or doing kind of Instagram stuff or speaking in front of a crowd at a talk or an event. So inevitably that does help for you to present the brand to people. And I think a lot of people now, I got friends who own businesses, and one said to me yesterday, can you just do some Instagram stories for us, please? Can you just sell our products? Because she said, I hate getting in front of the camera and I hate talking, and I understand, but honestly, I should do more. Everybody tells me, every business manager, mentor says, you need to do more. But again, it's that finding the balance, and most of the time my hair's up in a top knot and an absolute mess, and my laptop. I should do more. How should they do it? I think they should just do it. I think, there is no perfect. And the more relatable videos that I do, people prefer it too much. In fact, their social media at the moment have said, can you just get some of your customers to do some testimonials because yours are too perfect?
Yes.
So I need
I get it.
And I get it. And I'm far from perfect, trust me. But I think it's good as well to have customer testimonials to let them know how real their experiences are.
Absolutely. But I'm hearing, experience, it's assumed, isn't it? If you've presented for a while, that we know there's experience and you just had to do it and you had to turn up and do it. I think it's hard when people are doing it from their homes or whatever, because there's always an excuse that could come into play, or life is busy. So you gain that experience because it was a job, but a lot of people having to do their presenting themselves, they're really having to, just get up and do it. And I think that, you know, I heard you say about the more real, you know, the more authentic stuff is, you know, when I said that I love knowing a story behind a brand, I'll buy into that. But when I see realness and authenticity, just, you know, when things aren't perfect, I trust it. I trust it, you know, like I really think I feel safe that I'm not being sold to. I'm just being shown something, you know. And that to me, I think is where I can, you know, hope that people just take that step in just trying it out. You know, you can't take 20, you know, in live TV or whenever I've done in presenting, you don't, it's one take, it's done, right? And you can't pull yourself apart. You can just, you know, maybe next time do something better or whatever. But any time that I see real brands doing really, really well is the realness in there.
It's difficult to differentiate that, especially on Instagram, where you see people going, oh my gosh, this is amazing, try this is going to change your life. And I think especially we've never done any paid social media with influencers, because even if they love it, like people have come to us, big celebrities, and said, I use it all the time, can we work together? I'm like, as soon as it says ad, there's that part of me that's like, you've been paid to say it, is it real? You know, and I think there is a niche for it, I think there is a space for it, but I've never done it because I just, like you say, it's that authenticity. I think that another thing is to not compare. I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years, right at the beginning, I was thinking, oh gosh, they're doing this really well and they're saying this and I can't do that. And now I just don't care, because, you know, I can only do the best that I can do with the knowledge that I have at this time. So I don't really care anymore. You know, I don't look 20 anymore. I'm not going to say that I look 20 anymore, because I'm not. And I'm not, you know, I'm not in the gym every day. So I just tried, like you said, try to be authentic. And if I make my supernova and it spills all over the counter, I'll keep it in 9 times out of 10, because I think, well, that's where my head's at. That's life. Over. Yeah. I'm stressed and I'm rushing, and this is real life. I think just don't compare. It's a killer, isn't it, for everyone?
It is. And I you know, I think once somebody's interested in a brand, they want to see your journey, not like you're borrowing somebody else's journey. I think that's a real key thing. Okay, what would you say to somebody then? We talked about presenting side of stuff. Let's think about the fact that you've had a number of business. What would you say to somebody starting out now? Not when you started this business a few years ago, when you started, did you say 15 years ago with the
That's 16, yeah.
16 years ago for the other business? What would you say to somebody who's, I don't know, it's like how many years? What would you say to somebody starting out in business who's got something, you know, you said you want to help people, you care about that. So somebody's got something, maybe they're doing their alchemy in their kitchen. What would your, you know, I don't know, top tips be to those guys?
I would say, know your product well. I think everybody always says, oh, find the niche in the market, or, you know, there's something out there. Yeah, you do have to find that USP. But if you do your I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at all, but the way I've done it is, I know my product is amazing. And there's going to be people coming and going, you know, people have tried to copy it numerous times. Somebody that I know that's tried to copy it has just gone out of business, which is awful. But I know we're going to withstand it, because I know it's a great product. So there's going to be, you know, ebbs and flows. So if you create something from your heart that you've done an awful lot of research on, it's hopefully going to have longevity, because it's a great product that's quality. And if you're doing it from a passion and a place of passion and purpose, then you're gonna, you know, you can only carry on so long with such drive and passion and determination for something if you just want to make money. Plus, ultimately, you may not make what you want, or you only see these stories of businesses that make millions in 2 years. That's the only ones you see. And that is the smallest percentage. You know, I think something like 70% of businesses go bust in the first 2 years or something.
Significant.
Yeah, there's got to be a deeper rooted reason as to why you start. So I'd say create a really good quality product from your heart. It's got to have some kind of passion and purpose that's going to drive it for longer than a couple of years. And I'd also really say that I'm still trying to ask for help from everywhere and knowledge, and create a good support team. Again, I'm still working on that because it costs a lot of money to get good people with you. And we've never had investment, and that's not something that I'm really interested in, because then it can take you to different levels and have influence over things that I don't want. But I've got an incredible business manager and mentor. There's a lot of NatWest helping small businesses. I went to so many free seminars and just ask people, and people are willing to help and support if they see that you're genuine. So that would be my advice.
Love that.
Can't do it alone. That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard you say earlier that you'd studied psychology, which I didn't know. So that was interesting. So do you think that's influenced you and helped you?
Oh, in every way, yeah. My husband, they trying to psychoanalyze my husband every day. Why have my kids done that? Why did they do that? Why did I do that? I think it's really interesting. Yeah. I think I study biology and psychology because I'm really passionate about why and how we do things, how the body works, how we think, why we act, which is probably why, I've developed this product, because how the neurotransmitters work, how our emotions affect things and our actions, and it's all related, isn't it? Everything from your gut brain access,
Absolutely.
Related. And then taking it one step further, how plants can affect that with a positive effect. So yeah, I definitely think psychology's helped. Even going to a kind of a meeting, a pitch deck, you sum up the body language, see how they react to things. So yeah, I think so. And who knows?
I love it. I'm always interested, like why people do things as well and stuff. And it's really interesting, isn't it, when you're talking to somebody about their business, how it started, what's driving them. I just find that even if it's, I don't know, a product that's so far out of my realm, I'm always interested. And, hearing you earlier sort of saying about, if you've got a really good product and you believe in it, I mean, that must be so hard to run a business if you don't believe in it.
I agree.
God.
And people have said to me, I went to a business course once and somebody said, you need to just create a really basic protein powder. That's what's going to sell. That's what's going to make you the money. And every part of me was like, nah, I work on this all day, every day. I can't call, the salespeople or whoever I'm calling and say, got a really great pea powder. I just can't do it. It doesn't sit with me. It's got no integrity. I've got no passion about it, and I like to live my life with passion. And
yes,
I totally agree with you. I couldn't do that, and I don't want to spend my life pushing something that I don't agree with.
No, I'm from my own personal point of view, I've been very fortunate that I've been able to do a job that I love and passionate about, and it's about integrity. What I'm hearing is integrity running through everything that you're saying. And that shines through. So, kudos to you, because I think it's, when you're doing businesses and stuff, and you can get sidelined by what people are suggesting you do, and but sticking to that ethos and stuff is so very, very important. And what's really exciting to me is seeing businesses doing well. I think it becomes contagious. If one business does it, I'm hoping that other people realize you can be successful, you can have a successful business making a difference to people, and it just being a great product. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree. I just thinking and we want to do that more with the new blend, the children's blend. We're working with an incredible charity called the Magic Breakfast, where so many children now haven't got a decent breakfast to start the day, to help them learn at school. And again, I'm all about, children of the future. The product's called The Future, and them educating them about what is actually healthy. So we are, every pack that we sell is going to give a child a magic breakfast, and the same with the packaging. It's all recyclable. Our bottle, our ribbon that we have on our gift boxes is recycled from plastic bottles that are thrown up on the beach. So like you say, it's all connected, and it genuinely does help things.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. So what have you learned about yourself in this business over the last few years?
I've learned that business is very hard. I've learned, like I said earlier, not to compare to trust myself and trust my instincts, because, you know, lots of people, like you say, will have this perspective and things on what you should and shouldn't be doing. And so many people would say, you know, somebody said, oh, I can help you reformulate it, it'd be much cheaper. So we went down, they were like, you need to just put this in, just put this flavoring in. We were like, that's not the business. It's not about that. So it's really having that instinct and trusting my instinct, and that actually I do know what I'm talking about, and I do know what people want. And just because you've got a title, or, you know, you're some formulator, doesn't mean you're right. So that's been a definite big thing. And to speak up. I have found, and again, I hate to say it, but, you know, with factory owners and developers, and they're all men. And I take my husband with me. I'm the driver in the business. You know, my husband is very good at other stuff, and we do a lot of events together, which is great. And he's very good at that. But I'm, you know, the predominant day-to-day driver. But I'll take him, and they won't even look at me, you know, because they're all men on the board, and they'll look at Jermaine, and he's, you know, played football, and I'm used to it now, because I know what I'm talking about. And when I start speaking, they you know, they do too. But it's again, it's a difficult thing. And I hate that I'm even saying it, but a woman in business, I have to have that confidence to speak up and let them know, you know, I'm not a walkover. Don't, you know, just because I'm blonde and I'm a female founder, don't take advantage. And it's been tested time and time again. And I hate being that, you know, that voice, or the one that says actually no, and sounding the, you know, the idiot, if you will, or the hard work, you know, your hard work one. But I think that's how you create change, and actually get a really quality, good product and service, I hope.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I am. What I'm hearing is you are rightly protective over what you've created, but with you know, being open-minded and curious enough to take on board what your, you know, people who are using your product, what they want and stuff, you know. And that's really, really important, isn't it, with a business? Is it staying true to the kind of the purpose behind it, what you started out with, but also having your eyes open, like, could this be better? Could we improve this? You know, like you said, you're changing some of the packaging, taking on board what people are saying. That's really important. But, you know, for me, also being female, you know, I think it's really important to assert ourselves as strong business leaders, and you know, good on you for doing that. And it's a cultural change that needs to take part. You know, and I've done that. You know, when I've been with, I don't know, working alongside somebody, and they assume that this person is the control or the decision maker. And I just love it when that person, they're talking to them, and they just, that person then turns to me and just allows me to take, and I'm just like, yes. But it's a cultural change, and that can only happen over time and stuff.
Yeah. I don't really get too bad. I just laugh about it now.
I know.
But it's definitely made me stronger, seeing that firsthand.
Yeah, and belief. You know, and belief will always help you, won't it? One of the last things I wanted to ask, because I'm kind of curious with anybody who manages to work with their spouse, a partner, I'm always in awe of this, right? So obviously you guys work together on this. It sounds like you use each other's strengths and stuff. What have you learned about working with your husband, and what have you learned specifically about him that you didn't know?
A lot. Sorry about my dog barking in the background.
Oh, it's fine.
So we, again, from the beginning, we said we wanted to spend more time together. He used to be away a lot, and we wanted to spend a lot of time together. We connecting with like-minded people, you know, traveling, which we've realized is not a lot of the time to do that. But it has made us conscious to do that, you know, to book events in, to book festivals in, to book talks in, and we love doing that together. It gets us out, it gets us meeting people, and that's our favorite time. That, though, is probably 5% of the business. So that is great, doing that stuff together. He is definitely more practical. He's a people person. He's that's his forte and his strengths. When you think about running the business, like I said, 90% is on the computer, doing the day-to-day, the accounts, the sales, the marketing, the, you know, emails, customer service. So that's definitely been left to me. And I have realized that I admire people that can work. I've got, so a couple that have got a really successful business together, and they work together beautifully, but we're both very strong-minded people. So he now works with his strengths and I work to my strengths. And I think that's worked out well for us. So he definitely doesn't do as much as I do in the business, but it is our business, and at events and things, we are a formidable team. So yeah, and I've learned also that marriage is more important than business. So it's nice. It's sometimes you've got to take a step back from business and be like, actually, we're a couple. I need to focus on us being a couple, rather than, like you say, telling him about the sales forecasts or the markups or sheets, 11 o'clock at night, when he's saying, can we just watch TV?
Chill. Yeah, absolutely. I love that, Laura. It's been lovely to talk to you.
Oh, thank you.
To find out more about what drives you and stuff. I know a lot of people listening to these things because, for me, listening to somebody else for me, it will push me to maybe try something out myself. And there's evidence, and
this is the award-winning blend, Vogue recommended, best taste, best powder. So if or you need any powder that debloats, that reduces anxiety, proven by up to 70% to reduce stress and anxiety, increase energy, boost immunity, then this is it.
Love that. I love that. And you really kind to offer the FitPro community 20% off. So they use the code FitPro20, so 20 on the end. And where would they find you? Obviously, we'll put a link, but can you say where they can follow you and the website?
Our website's the best is supernovaliving.com. Or if you want more information on the product, have a look at our Instagram, which is supernova.living. And you'll find loads of recipes, me talking about the ingredients in more detail on there. And if you have any questions, I'd love to connect. So please DM me, email me, message me, and I'll happily answer them.
Oh, Laura, thank you so much. Honestly, it's been an utter pleasure. I've learned more about you, which is always so lovely for me. I know we talk in the background, we discuss what we're going to cover, but I've learned more about you, and it's an absolute delight to chat to you. So do you want to say any final words?
No. Stay in balance and do all you can to stay in balance. Yeah. And that's all.
All right. That's a great way to finish. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. Please just go and check out their website. Check them out on Instagram and use that discount code. What a perfect opportunity. All right, Laura, thank you again. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Bye.